rankings, but he's having a good run of it of late. He got to the semi-finals, of course, at the English Open a few weeks ago. And just after that, the last 16 of the British Open. So he's going deep again in another tournament here. He's only lost 2 frames in 3 matches. Former shootout champion, last season runner-up at the Northern Ireland Open. His record against Trump is not good. He's lost all 13 meetings. We can worry about that tomorrow if he's playing him. First of all, he's got to get past another big hitter here. The biggest hitter in these parts, Ding Junhui. He's had 4 centuries this week, playing good stuff.
And his opponent, holding ranking titles, recognizing the world 3 times UK Championship, the Dragon Ding Junhui.
You can see great excitement amongst the crowd as Ding walks out. This is no pushover though by any means. They've only played once before, and that was 7 years ago. Ding won for the record, but Wakelin is much improved since then. So this is a tricky tie for the home favourite. So the night session at the Wuhan Open. 4 matches down, 4 to go to complete the quarter-final lineup here. And Ding Junhui against Chris Wakelin is centre stage. Best of 9, Judd Trump waiting in the next round. Ding scored well, 4 centuries so far in the 3 matches he's won. Can he keep it going, though, against Chris Wakelin, who he's on a good run of form himself. Neil Foulds alongside me. I think a couple of years ago, Neil, you know, you'd fancied Ding strongly, but a more even match maybe now.
Yeah, I think more because of the way that Chris Wakelin has started to play. You know, he has figured at the latter stages of events. We know what he's capable of. And like you say, he hasn't been losing many frames. It's always difficult, I think, for anybody playing Ding Junhui here in a Chinese event, in that the crowds are undeniably behind him. But I think he's very capable, as you say. The sort of looming large would be playing Judd Trump, who he's had sort of almost nightmares about, I think, over the past, losing to him frequently. But he's got a small matter of Ding Junhui to worry about first. It's a very adventurous shot if he's going for this. Well, I mean, there is a more attacking element to the game than ever these days, but that was an extremely difficult shot to be volunteering to play. As for Ding, well, he lost the first 2 against Robbie McGuigan and then proceeded to win the next 5 and the next match 5-0, so he's going well. He won also 5-2 against Yasejun. The other thing is that these two somehow have only ever played once, and they've been on the tour for many years. That was 2017, so it's somewhat surprising they've not really crossed paths before, more than that one occasion in the Scottish Open.
Yeah, and I think the word occasion is certainly in there in terms of this match. Wakelin coming on to the main table to play the main man in China. And trying to make a bit of a statement, maybe, taking that brown on, but he didn't get it.
It's a very difficult shot to play, wasn't it, at any time, never mind at the very start.
8.
I mean, I know that the roll-up behind a bulk colour isn't often very profitable, but that was a tough brown. Goodness, he was on the cushion. It's one thing if you have to play a shot
9.
like that, but he's kind of got Ding started early, and Ding did nothing to earn that chance. Anyway, I suppose winning would be saying what a brave shot it was.
Well, the question is, can Ding just settle here? Of course, one of the matches he played actually wasn't on this table, it was on table 2, so he hasn't quite been camped out here all week, but he's used to the conditions. Chris Wakelin coming onto it for the first time.
14. 15. 22. $23.
So, chance to get the bunch open, top spin it, or the cue will arc from right to left. Oh, that is a fabulous split. Look at that. I mean, that is exactly how to play the shot. You need an element of luck,
30.
but it's very skillfully played. It does arc and really gets into that bunch. That's a beautiful shot. More evidence that his form right now is good.
31.
Yeah, we sort of said the other day that, you know, Ding lacks a bit of consistency, but when he comes good, he comes real good. And we've seen that at various times over the years. Quite often it seems to happen at the UK Championship.
I don't think he played a very good shot there to finish this angle on the black. Don't think it will cause him a problem, but he didn't really want to be over the top of all those balls. But I think that's the key, isn't it? That, you know, generally his cue ball control
38.
means that he just plays a series of easy shots in a row, and when he's good, he's irresistible.
Just seem to be certain events that inspire him, and
39.
certain ones that don't. I mean, the Home Nations has been a bit of a washout, hasn't it, for him over the years? But as I say, UK Championship, a lot of events here in China as well, where he's won 6 ranking titles. Of course, he's won the Masters as well.
Yeah, he didn't even enter the English Open this season, did he, for whatever reason? But had he done so, there's no real belief that he would have won it
45.
because, as you say, he seems slightly less motivated by those events.
$46.
But with that good split, it would be pretty significant if you could get the frame one from it. His positional play is absolutely A1. I mean, as I say, there was that slight blemish earlier in the break, but it was only very slight. You don't think of him as a stunning long potter. I know he can do all that, and he doesn't have an abundance of cue power. It's just his close control is as good as anybody's, I'd say.
Yeah, as a break builder, he's a player who other players sort of gush about when they talk about
61.
that side of his game. Just looking to kill this frame off now.
$62.
He's not quite there yet, is he?
No, no, he isn't. Would he play the brown gently? Would he roll it in and block the pocket? The black would take him over the line points-wise. Ian off in the middle is not out of the question here. But better than Ian off is hitting the top jaw and coming back to the reds.
69.
So he's got the first part done. He's got to the snooker's required stage. But it means he's got to finish the job off and pot another red. Is he going to attempt the double? Well, players still fancy their chances from this position. But he's put a red by the black, so it looks very much as if, barring a snooker, Ding will win this frame. Break didn't end quite as usually as it would do for Ding with positional play.
Yeah, he just raised his hand there, Ding acknowledging he'd been fortunate. The red going by the black. Of course, Wakelin's going to need blacks. Dwayne Jones already, he's 1-0 up against Si Jiahui.
don't think he's got much cover, even if he has got the snooker. The target is huge off of one cushion, or even a little swerve around the yellow if he wanted to. Well, he's playing 2, but I don't think he'd be looking to play the thin glance. That would be too risky. So he just want to hit as much of the red as he can, because it's a snooker that Wakelin needs.
One.
He's got a long way to go here, because the red's not even in good positions to take it down to 1 red and attempt the snooker then.
That is the brown on the top cushion. I know there are actually players who are slightly colourblind. Seems odd in this sport. I mean, Mark Williams, one of the greats, has trouble if the brown is in amongst the reds. He's got the black away from that red. I mean, when snooker started on TV, of course, it was all in black and white. So, you know, you had devil's own job trying to follow it.
I actually played somebody many years ago as a junior player who mistakenly hit the yellow instead of the cue ball during the course of the match. I don't think that was anything more than just a mistake. The gentleman didn't have the best of eyesight. It was in the middle of a frame as well.
$15.
Clearly, the more reds he removes, the bigger the danger, really, for Ding, that he may eventually get the snooker successfully. I think Chris Wakelin's in a pretty chipper mood right now. He's having a good season. He's had a good couple of seasons, of course. Winning the shootout. Not everybody sort of, you know, likes that event or regards it, maybe takes it seriously, but to win a trophy and to win it the way he did with that century in the last frame in the final really was a massive boost of confidence, which he's carried forward.
16.
On the one-year list, he's currently in 14th position, so he's in good shape, certainly for the first Players' Series event, the World Grand Prix. That's top 32. At the moment, he'd be in the Players' Championship, the top 16, and not far off the Tour Championship, the top 12.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to say
23.
the shootout is not so important for players, as some like to do, but you don't get many of the sort of middle-ranked players not playing in it. Occasionally the top players miss out on it, but everyone further down the rankings play. They know that there's a golden
24.
chance for something big to happen, and it did for this man. Anyway, now he's getting to the point where it's quite interesting. You can just roll in this blue. It'll only be one snooker, and you can see where he's going to get the snooker. Behind the black, red up the other end, so he's taking it very seriously, this frame, from the point where a snooker was required. Ding went for a double, which he didn't have to. No one's saying he'll win the frame, but if you get a difficult enough snooker, and if you can get a red close to a colour, then anything could happen from there.
30. Chris Wakelin, 30.
Well, the red has come away from the cushion far enough so it's not a huge target. I don't know whether the left cushion, one cushion escape, is blocked off by the middle pocket So if he's got to go to the right, then clearly this could be missed. And then Wakelin could win. Yeah, I think Ding has come to the conclusion also that this could easily go wrong, and he might even be thinking about, well, if I don't hit it, I must avoid the free ball, so that will come into his calculations. Worst case scenario on missing the red. Don't make things even worse by leaving a free ball. 2 cushions then. Very good, very good. And not left the simplest shot to get another one, although Wakelin might think that behind the black again is a possibility. I can't believe he tried to hit the yellow on the way through with the red, putting the yellow safe. So that clearly has not gone as planned. There was an insect on the table he might have spotted as well, which I don't suppose helped his concentration on the shot.
Well, not a snooker. Meanwhile, Mark Joyce, who's, of course, the late call-up in this event after Ronnie O'Sullivan withdrew, he's 1-0 up against Chang Anda. What a story. And literally, just days before the event began, he got the call. He had the visa already. Got the flight booked, and here we are. Well, that would have killed it off for sure, had he potted that. Jagudong has won the first against Barry Hawkins on table 2. That's on Discovery Plus.
That's obviously a surprise. I think the middle pocket once again was in the way, so he played it with right hand side to check the cue ball back up towards the red. But clearly when you are putting side on out of a snooker, things can go wrong. It can be misjudged, as it was there.
Needs at least a pink off the red.
1.
Of course, that shot he played earlier when he inadvertently pushed the yellow safe has now come into play in terms of making the clearance, but he's back in the frame now.
Yeah, he could do with the black, really, couldn't he? The pink would just be enough to tie, but it's kind of a worst case scenario, isn't it, that you do play that? Take it down to an extra ball at the end. But he's not going to try and pop the yellow here anyway, so you might hope that he can get another snooker in this exchange
7.
and win without that.
Chris Wakelin 7. 观众保持安静。
Referee there was just trying to stop someone moving, I think, on the shot. But this is another snooker, and the yellow's gone close to the black. He's got to be careful here.
Yeah, it's a good one, Dave. This, not least, there appears to be just enough room around the back of the yellow to perhaps just sweep past it altogether.
Well, he had the chance at the red, didn't he, from distance, you know, and you kind of fancied him for it. That would have put an end to all of this.
He did, but he didn't hit it very well at all. We were right behind the line. He played it with not much authority. Now, I wouldn't say he's, at this stage, in trouble in the frame, because at the moment, if he hits it, Wakelin can only tie, but the snookers that he's been put in are not the most easy, the most straightforward to get out of. Now, it looks like he's going to play with right-hand side. Just, if he feels, if he can miss the black, then he feels you'll hit it. But as I say, you can go around the back of all of these here. There's enough room. Go around the back of the yellow from this way. Oh, goodness me. Well, he hasn't gone around the back. That is a dream outcome, isn't it? He just clipped it.
Imagine trying to achieve that outcome. You know, you'd be there all day. He did just sort of tap the table. What a result for Ding. Well, Chris Wakelin not offering up any gifts. It's another snooker. It's going to be a slight swerve by the looks of it. Remember, at the moment, Wakelin could force a respot. But obviously another more penalty points, he could win the frame. He's practiced a lot, hasn't he, with Mark Selby, Chris Wakelin, which I imagine in a scenario like this, he's going to come in handy.
wasn't what he had planned, although it will do better than staying over the pocket. Needs help. Needs the blue to help him. He's not going to do so.
Chris Wakelin 2.
So now another chance, and he's almost like a black ball shot this, in that you're not worried about getting on the brown. That's not his concern. If he pots this, then it's 2 snookers, so he won't be doing a lot else but trying to pot it.
Frame just sort of refuses to end for Ding, and of course the danger there is that he might end the other way eventually in favour of his opponent. A reminder, Judd Trump is going to be the opponent tomorrow in the quarterfinals, so it's going to be a great occasion either way, but certainly if it's Trump Ding for the crowd, you know, that is a real one to savour. Judd Trump, he's now played 14 events in 2024, and he's reached at least the quarterfinals of all of them. 11 of them have been ranking tournaments. An incredible run, winning match after match in these tournaments.
Foul.
Well, that's a real blow, because all the hard work he's done. I think he's been a fraction unlucky, hasn't he, quite honestly, since the point where he needed a snooker. A few things that have happened have been in favour of Ding Junhui. I mean, the in-off was not his fault. He's sitting in his chair, Ding, but the in-off didn't have to happen either, so maybe not the best of fortunes for Wakelin.
Game
is over now, though, and probably taken him a quarter of an hour longer than it should have, but he's got there.
Yes, he made a good 69 break. Chris Wakelin has at least made him earn it.
Ding Junhui is free. Frame conceded.
But he stays in his chair, so the frame is Ding's after all. Wakelin gave it a good go there, but China's #1, Ding Junhui, off and running in this race to 5 to play Judd Trump in the quarterfinals. He leads 1-0. It's also England versus China on table 2. Barry Hawkins versus Zhao Guodong, the man who knocked out the world champion Kyren Wilson in that memorable match yesterday. Hawkins has come through quite quietly, but in his own determined way. It's 1-0 here to Zhao. The Hawks had 3 5-3 wins. One of them was in qualifying in Leicester, Zhang Jun, and then here he beat Jimmy Robertson, who's been having a good campaign, and also, of course, young Stan Moody.
The other thing about that match yesterday with Zhao Guodong, the win against Kyren Wilson, which I hadn't thought about at the time, but I think someone might have messaged you and I about it, was he was massively outscored, wasn't he, Zhao, points-wise? You know, every frame just about that Wilson won, he won easily, and all of the others were close, so he was hugely outpointed. Not that means a lot, but that's what happened in the way the frames all went.
Yeah, it was a tough one for Kyren to take, for sure. Just one of those things, really, but great win for Zhao, and already 1-0 up here, trying to back it up with another win against a big hitter. Barry Hawkins, full-time ranking event winner. But trying, as I say, to get his top 16 place back. He's 18 at the minute, so this could be a big week for him. Not too close on that one, though. It's 3-1 on the head-to-head to Barry Hawkins between them. They did play at the Welsh Open last season. Hawkins won that one in a decider, 4-3.
Second frame. Chris Wakelin to break.
Chris Wakelin finds himself a frame down here to Ding Junhui. He made that 69 right from Wakelin's initial miss on the brown. He took that very tough brown on to the left middle. He did, of course, get the snooker later with the chance to, well, in the end, force a respot. But anyway, Ding held on and he has taken the lead. On the other table, Xiao Guodong 1-0 up on Barry Hawkins. Dwayne Jones 1-0 up on Si Jiahui. And Mark Joyce, the late call-up, 1-0 up on Zhang Anda.
He's a very dangerous player, Wakelin. Very good when he's in amongst them. Quite a thoughtful player, but he can score. And he'd be delighted to be in early in this frame.
5. Six. Thirteen. Fourteen.
Yeah, I know from talking to Chris, he's just in a good place right now. Him and his partner have got a new house. He's going to become a father soon. You know, his career has really taken off the last couple of years. He's enjoying travelling and now seeing how far he can go. 22 in the world, which is a great achievement these days, but looking obviously to press on, try and get a top 16 place, which usually happens if you win a tournament. First prize here, 140,000. And then all the spin-offs that come with it.
Going into the bunch early here. He's got to hit the pink smack on if he can. No, he didn't hit half of it. This is where you need things to work out in your favour. It could have been worse, actually. He's on this red, but he didn't hit enough of the pink to get anything more than a glancing blow on the bunch. Yes, he wants to get the cue ball back a little bit. That's why he's digging into it. He wants to get underneath the cue ball. Doesn't want to just roll it in and be below the black.
26.
That's a good shot. That was a missable red, playing it in the way he did.
34.
Well, he probably put on a red to the right corner, but he always had the backup red to the middle, so it was never
41.
a question of being exact with the position. And he's always got that red at the other end of the table. If he got the wrong side of the blue, it would be there for him. But for now, he's perfect to get on the couple of reds above the pink spot. And this is what he does very well. He is a very good scorer. I think his game might have sped up a little bit in the last 3 or 4 years. Don't know whether winning the shootout made him think a little quicker or what, but he does get on with it.
48.
Yeah, I just think in general he's got so much more self-belief, so he's not doubting himself. And that maybe is reflected in the pace of play. Certainly less fear of the big occasion as well. And this is, of course, a huge one, playing Ding on the main table in China.
53.
So not too far away from securing this frame. 61 the lead with the black.
Yeah, I think we can look forward to a good match, an open match between this pairing. I've only ever played once before, not really got any previous to speak of, except one match back in 2017.
62.
There is something of a similarity in their styles. Paying Chris Wakelin, I think, a compliment in saying that, given what Ding has achieved as a player. But the frame will be safe once his next red is potted.
It's been a nice break in the end.
67.
Nicely controlled.
In
terms of the top 16, it kind of depends when you get in. But we're coming up to a key part of the season, the UK Championship. Top 16 are seeded to York, so obviously everyone else has to qualify. And then after that tournament, the field is set for the Masters, where the field play for the Paul Hunter Trophy.
75.
Paul passed away 18 years ago on this day.
76.
Incredibly sad for his family and for the sport, but what a star. And it's great that his memory lives on at that tournament, which is really, I mean, it's always been a big event, but it's really come to life, I think, in recent years with the hospitality and the razzmatazz in the new year.
83.
Yeah, I mean, Paul lit up the old conference centre, didn't he, with his 3 victories in the Masters. All of them in pretty
84.
Spectacular style. In the meantime, nudging that red out means there is the century possibility now. If he can just drop this in, it's quite thin and he'll have to play it gently. Keeble will run a little. I'm not sure if it's run too far, but he may be able to get to that red to the right middle. Yeah, I think he can.
Well,
this has been wonderful, this break. And such evidence of how well in general Wakelin is playing this season. Feels like the last piece of the puzzle might be a victory over Judd Trump, which of course he would have the chance to achieve if he can beat Ding today.
97.
Just left this awkward over the blue.
very awkward. He can't reach it without using either the rest or I think it'd be the spider.
Long spider. You mean the... Yeah. You want the higher one with the cross like that. The extended spider on. Normal one. I'll show you.
Well, there seems to be a whole selection of things under the table, according to Peggy Lee. I think he asked for the spider. I didn't know there were that many. This is the extended spider.
You see, this is why Dominic calls it the bridge rest, you see, Dominic Dale, and there's no confusion.
Well, there is, because he's the only one that calls it that. So there's confusion every time he says it for the referee. I think we've come to an agreement there. The spider. A really good shot. So the break deserves to be a century. It was a lovely break.
98.
And it is going to be one. It's a question of how many now.
Yeah, terrific stuff from Chris Wakelin. It's his 6th century of the season. He's in that club of players, 84 of them now, who've made 100 in their career or more.
103. $106. $110.
High break, by the way, still 139. There's 3 players made that. But still plenty of time for that to be beaten.
115.
Yeah, you feel it will be beaten, don't you, on these tables which are playing well, conducive to good scoring. I don't think 139 is going to hang on, despite the fact it's been made on more than one occasion. What a terrific break this has been. Well constructed from an early chance.
Yeah, total clearance with the black. Excellent. He looked confident from the off in the first frame, but in this one he stayed in and has taken the frame out very nicely. So battle joined here in Wuhan. Ding Junhui and Chris Wakelin all square at 1 each. Remember, 5 needed to advance to the quarterfinals. I'm sure a lot of fans here obviously will be supporting Ding, but they certainly appreciated the quality of that break. Now on the other table, Zhang Yudong won the first frame here against Barry Hawkins. I say the other table is 4, but the other television table. You can see he's in front here in frame 2 as well, looking to put this away and make it 2-0. Well, the sort of sheepish look suggests he's not on this red by the black. He's on... Has a chance at this red on the left-hand side. He must be feeling good after yesterday. I know it was a bit of a hair and scare and win, but the fact is he did win. And what was notable about it was he was playing so poorly early on. It could have been a really dispiriting, you know, heavy defeat, that, but somehow it all turned round.
Yeah, I mean, it looked for all the world like 3-0, didn't it? Absolutely guaranteed. And as soon as it wasn't, it seemed to completely change the way the match was played.
Well, meanwhile, he's missed that, so plenty still in this frame, 46 the lead.
From 3, Ding Junhui to break.
1-1. Ding Junhui won the first. Chris Wakelin 128 total clearance in the second. Referee just asking for a bit of hush.
And that red went a long way up the table off the break, which can happen, but I don't think it's potable. He can get to half of it, but not the potting angle to middle. What a shot that is. I mean, he could get to the potting angle into the corner, but not the middle. And he hit it so well, he floated it in.
Five. Six.
Got through the Q school initially. That's how he turned pro back in 2013 in a very strange fashion, because his opponent, Adam Witchard, somehow broke his own cue late in the match. He leant against it or something, and with no cue to play with, he had to concede. So it was a rather bizarre start, but it can be a rather bizarre sport, as we know.
Thirteen. 14.
He's a very precise player, though. I mean, I keep saying it, but he is very controlled. He looks $1 million when he's playing well. The opening red was floated down to the pocket he's knocking this one into now.
22.
If he gets on a roll, he can play outstanding snooker. I remember on Stephen Hendry's comeback, which seems to have ended now, but the first time they played, Hendry beat him, and then
29.
but they played again in something lockdown related in Milton Keynes, and he absolutely played out of his skin all the way through. Stephen only just
30.
broke off in 2 or 3 of the frames. It was his last shot.
I remember that because Chris was asked, you know, was it an honour to play Stephen Hendry? And he said, oh, yeah, he said, my mother was a big fan of his, which I'm sure made Stephen feel even better. But the fact is he was born in 1992, you know, the year Hendry won his second world title.
$37. 38.
So now what does he do? He's got the angle to go directly into them, and in that previous break where he wanted to make a century, got a bit lucky. It was a similar shot to this, and instead of hitting the pink full on, he just hit half of it and got a little fortunate to go to red. It's the only blemish in the whole break, actually. Played played it better this time. Got the reds open by hitting more of the pink, so that's much more like it. This is excellent from Wakelin. Here he is, getting plenty of the pink. Spread a few reds out.
.44.
Well, whatever the zone is, he's definitely in it right now. We saw that in the previous frame. It's almost like it almost feels like it's one continuous break. Of course, he made a 1-2-8 in frame 2.
.51. .52.
In recent times, last couple of years, he got into ballroom dancing, Chris Wakelin. I think the Strictly judges would be holding up 10s right now if they were watching this in terms of his performance.
Yeah, I think he's a player with good concentration, except whenever he plays Judd
59.
Trump, as we were saying, he would play should he win. I know we mentioned it a few times,
60.
but you know, in snookering head-to-heads, he's as bad as any. I'm sure that there was Stephen Hendry, I'm sure, didn't lose to Terry Griffiths or something along those lines in their careers, and even Ali Carter eventually beat Ronnie O'Sullivan, and it was at the Crucible, having lost a number of times.
67.
But we'll speak about that in greater depth, of course, if he was to win.
Well, he's going to win this frame if he pots this red.
68.
And that high break now that I mentioned could be under threat. 139. But whether he beats it or not, this is just a wonderful performance. Just seems completely at one with the table, not thinking about anything else, including that man there.
75.
Indeed, it's not as if Ding has done a great deal wrong. You know, I mean, the break-off shot, they pushed the red down, and it looked like he'd gotten away with it, but it was a great opening red.
.76.
So he'll have to disturb the 4 reds again, forcing into them here. Didn't necessarily help him, did it on his backswing with a huge crashing sound, but anyway, the frame is all over.
81.
It's a question of how many he makes.
Yeah, like I say, he just seems to have shut everything else out.
82.
Can be distractions. We've seen the referee trying to keep on top of all of that. I noticed that today it was announced the line judges at Wimbledon are going to be replaced by technology, but thankfully for the snooker referees, we still need them.
89. 90.
Well, the line judges often get a bit of a pasting, don't they, when the balls come towards them? So maybe it's a safety reason. I'm not sure. Some of these big servers.
98.
This is another big break. It's beautiful, and I would like to think that he's got half an idea that the high break's 139. If he takes the black with this last red, we'll know that he's aware of it.
Well, back-to-back centuries.
105.
But not just that, just the coolness with which he's compiled them.
106.
Well, it's not going to be. It's not going to be beating the high break. He could equal it. There's already 3 players. They're not going to get much, are they? If it ends up they're all tied on 139, it's 5,000 divided by 4 at the moment. If he clears the table here.
112.
but he didn't care about that right now. He's just really enjoying this performance. Yeah, we've got Wu Yize, Marco Fu and He Guo Chang have all made a 139.
117.
Something of just a quirk, really, isn't it? I still don't believe it will survive. Even though we've got 4 of them on it, it'll be something in the 140s, you'd imagine. The way this match is going, it could happen this afternoon. It's been a beautiful break, the second of its kind. He's hit the run of form here. That is
126.
The mid-session interval could stop him. There's another frame before then, of course. But right now, he looks almost like nothing could stop him, even a big crashing sound earlier.
132.
It's going to be back-to-back total clearances. 2 wonderful, wonderful breaks from Chris Wakelin, who equals the tournament high break with that 139. It followed the 128. It's about as good as it gets, those last 2 frames. Just complete control from Wakelin, who hits the front here, 2-1. Yeah, terrific stuff. And as Neil says, I mean, what did Ding do there, really, that was wrong? Just had to sit and take it and hope for a chance himself shortly. It's 2-0 now to Zhao Guodong on the other table. As we look back on this frame.
Well, the opening red was the one. I mean, it's a tremendous shot because it was covered to the middle. He just floated it in. He got the bunch open a little better this time than in that previous frame when he found his way onto a red. But he's going to take some stopping. Of course, there's one more frame to play. Ding will be very keen to get that one and redress the balance, really, in a match like this and take him to the mid. There's the crash. We've heard that for the second time. But he just carried on oblivious to it. Didn't play on the black. I don't know. I get the feeling he wasn't aware of the break being 139, the high break. So he's equalled it again. So there's 4 of them on that, all lined up.
Well, it's not the easiest to find out where the breaks are, actually, so you can't blame him. But anyway, he don't care about that right now. He's just playing so well. And Chris Wakelin will be back shortly. He hopes for more of the same. Of course, Ding is capable of this sort of scoring as well, but he needs to get a chance first. The other scores, 1 each, Si Jiawei and Dwayne Jones. 2-0 Zhao Guodong over Barry Hawkins. 2-0 Mark Joyce over Zhang Anda. Waiting for Chris Wakelin to return, and Ding has had a ringside seat, a bit of a masterclass last 2 frames. 128, 139, back-to-back total clearances for Chris Wakelin. Table 2, Barry Hawkins against Zhao Guodong. It's 2-0 to Zhao Guodong, and they're just starting frame 3. Of course, he knocked out the world champion Kyren Wilson yesterday, and the winner of that match plays Shaun Murphy. Of course, the winner of our match plays Judd Trump. Jack Lisowski was sensational earlier. Beat Wu Yize 5-0. He'll play Long Jihang, who of course is from Wuhan, so it's a great story really either way there. Long on home soil. Jack, of course, looking to win his first tournament. And the winner of the Joyce Zhang Anda match plays Si Jiawei or Dwayne Jones. Mark Joyce 2-0. You know, a week ago he wasn't in the tournament. Got called up because Ronnie O'Sullivan withdrew. That latecomer not in a huge rush to take his seat, but he's done so now, and we're ready for frame 4.
Frame 4, Chris Wakelin to break.
Yes, and as we were saying, there's a short break after this frame, so it'll be one that Ding could do with getting under his belt and getting back to parity and doing what he does. He's not played poorly at all. He won the first frame, which went on a bit longer than he would have liked because the snooker was got by Wakelin, but the last two he's not really had a look in. Just needs the cue ball to slide past the black and the bunch of reds here. Shot to nothing, Reddy's trying to pot. That'll do.
One.
He's away again. That's another terrific pot. Not dissimilar to the red on the other side of the table in the previous frame. But this is Wakeling doing what he does best, getting into a good place with his concentration, despite what's happening around him. Little smile on his face, I'm not sure what there, but
6.
I think he held it too much. He didn't want to be using the rest here necessarily.
Seven.
I'll be forced to play red to left middle here with no angle at all. That red is all he can do. Pot it to middle pocket. Wants to be, as he has in the two previous frames, top side of the blue to get the bunch open. It's almost like a formula for him, but he can't do it on this shot.
15.
Well, that's a great shot. Now he's got a perfect angle on the black. This is very good from Wakelin. And he can really get the bunch of reds open here. He's got the red out in open play, which he could end up finding himself on here. It's always nice to have a backup ball if the pack don't open properly. And he's overdone it. Really got hold of the cue ball there, and he's got another red to left middle, but this time a bit more difficult.
22.
Overscrewed, I think. I'd be surprised if he didn't take a red on here. The kind of form he's in, I don't think it's too adventurous. He's got a choice of reds, but he's playing the middle one of the three in a line. Or he's certainly looking at it. Now he's back to the other one. Tough shot. But he's playing so well, you just fancy him, don't you, for all of these shots right now.
Well, he's playing as well as anybody's played in the tournament, for sure. This is how you dream of playing. And he's nailing, if there is a recovery shot like that, he's nailing them. Now it's about trying to keep things as simple as possible. Press on towards 3-1. His season ended, as all seasons do at the World Championship, but not at the Crucible. He lost 10-9 to Robbie Williams. That's about as low as you can feel, not only to miss out on the Crucible, but by 1 frame. But this is the opposite. Must be in dreamland how he's queuing, but you've got to keep the focus. We saw yesterday,
29.
didn't we?
Yeah.
One shot can turn a match. Didn't like maybe the contact there.
Yeah, I'm not sure. He certainly didn't pot it cleanly, which might be one of the reasons why the cue ball veered off. But either way, he's had the cue ball cleaned.
Yeah, it was different context, but yesterday Kyren Wilson was in charge against Yao Guodong's one shot where he caught the black instead of the yellow was the start of his troubles.
Nice recovery shot.
34.
Well, we're now just over 300 points without reply.
$35.
I think both reds go to the right corner from the left side, the one at the bottom of the bunch, and the left-hand red goes past the black if he slightly overdid it. But in that left area of the table, he can have a choice of 2 reds to keep this break going.
$41. 42.
Lovely shot. Again with the red out in open play to be sure he'd be on one, and that's the one he is playing.
49.
And this is a run of form that is out of the top draw. And you
50.
can see those 2 reds both popped to the same pocket. He just knocked that red in to below and to the right of the pink. So cue ball on the left of the 5 reds, beg your pardon, the right side of the 5 reds. He's got choices again. I don't think he's played it perfectly this time. He's kind of looking for ways
57.
that the break might end, and there is a chance here because positionally, in potting this red, he's not sure to be on a colour. It's well played though. He knew pretty much what was going to happen there. He will be slightly further away from the next red than he would want to be. Don't think he's going to run the cue ball around the angles. If he does want to, then he'll have to get it right. I think he is going to play it. Yeah, I mean, he could have finished just about there with playing without using all the cushions.
63.
May have run aground. It's the kind of shot you'd fancy him for, but he should be on the red closer than he is.
64.
Well, it just seems you can't miss. It's an astonishing performance, this. And this black, he'll be 3-1 up. But it's not just the scoreline, it's how he's got there. Ding has just been relegated to the status of spectator. Brilliant stuff from Chris Wakelin.
Yeah, we certainly becalmed the audience. A lot of them are here to see Ding Junhui, no doubt. But there's not much he can do sitting in his chair. Now, as we know, it may sound a cliche, but the mid-session interval can certainly stop momentum of a player. And that's what I think Ding Junhui will be banking on.
Well, we saw, I guess, the comparable performance this season was Zhang Anda in Riyadh, the Saudi Arabia tournament, where he made 4 total clearances against Ben Wollaston. Wakelin's made 2
77
in the last 2 frames, trying to keep this break going. And it is still going.
It's been a fabulous break. I mean, the other 2 centuries were with more control. He just lost the control, but that's, you know, you'd be very picky to say anything wrong with this. It's terrific.
Well, there is the chance now for a 3rd century. And as you say, the one thing that might stop the momentum is the fact they've got to stop playing for 15 minutes. The interval traditionally will help the player trailing.
84.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the performance of Zhang Anda. The other thing you could speak about was when we used that 4-0 against Judd Trump. He wasn't playing quite like this, but he did change everything. The fact they took their break gave him time to think, and we're not saying the same will happen, but you almost start again, don't you? And right now, he can't play any better than this. It's been marvellous.
Not the most comfortable position to be in here as he tries to complete this 3rd century. He's going to need the last shred as well.
Yeah, but I'd like to see him make it. I mean, 3 back-to-back. We know it's happened, and it does happen in snooker, but it doesn't happen all the time. Question of how he gets on the red. Yeah, I don't think he meant to hit it, but he could just roll this in if he feels inclined just to make the 99. Century. Maybe go to the bottom of the cue ball anyway.
Oh, well done. What a brilliant display this has been. 3 centuries in a row from Chris Wakelin. Centre stage here in China against the great Ding Junhui, playing the snooker of his life. It's true in this break, he lost a little bit of control here and there, but he kept the break going. Just feeling 100%, isn't he, right now? Wonderful stuff. Ding there just watching on.
107.
Got the interval, just hoping that things will turn around when they come back.
I think he was in such a good place with his scoring that when he did slightly break down positionally, he still felt he would keep the break alive. Because he just looks so confident, because you're never going to be on every ball perfectly all the way through 3 consecutive centuries. But he's playing well. He'd love to just play these remaining frames right now, wouldn't he?
114.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been terrific. Can he make a 3rd total clearance in a row? That would be something.
119.
Amazing performance this is. So this black for a 3rd total clearance in as many frames. Absolutely fantastic from Chris Wakelin. 128, 139, 132. 399 points without reply. What a spell of snooker to take a 3-1 lead over Ding Junhui. And as they go to the interval, Chris Wakelin, in the form of his life, will need 2 more to take on Judd Trump tomorrow. As I say, I mean, the crowd, OK, many will be Ding fans, but they're snooker fans as well, and they really appreciated that. What a terrific 3-frame burst from Chris Wakelin. Meantime, it's 3-0 now to Zhao Guodong on the other table. Hang on. Oh, I thought that was in. Will be now. Not quite the fireworks here, but the fact is he's in a very strong position. Big frame for Hawkins.
Yeah, he needs to win this one all right. 4-0. We did mention a few minutes ago that it was turned over in the Saudi event by Judd Trump from 4-0 down, but you don't see it very often, quite honestly. You can almost remember all the times it has happened. And he's got a difficult shot to play here, so this is going to have to go in. As you say, I don't think the breaks have been quite flowing to the same extent, but Zhao Guodong, who doesn't always appear in the latter stages of an event, has got a chance to do so. In Wuhan, the way he's playing, having beaten the world champion yesterday. Now Barry Hawkins. There's a little bit of noise around, given that the match with Wakelin and Ding has just come to the mid-session. So he ends the break there. Don't think he could have been on the bottom red. Surely he would have played it. Hawkins will have to be good in all departments from here. He'll have to score well and he'll have to keep Guodong a long way away from the reds. He's playing pretty good stuff himself. He was massively outpointed yesterday in that match that he won 5-4. A couple of 100 points, I think, in favour of Kyren Wilson, but it doesn't count for anything, really, if you lose all the close frames.
Well, I'm sure Chris Wakelin would have been very happy if there'd been no interval. He's playing so well. 3 total clearances in 3 frames. 1-2-8, 1-3-9, 1-3-2. He leads Ding Junhui 3-1. On table 2, Barry Hawkins and Zhao Guodong. And Hawkins in big trouble here. He's 3-0 down to Zhao, who, of course, yesterday knocked out Kyren Wilson. So we're going to watch this for a while. Not quite the fireworks here, but Zhao's had breaks of 67 and 69. Not much down in frame 4. Winner plays Sean Murphy, who came through that decider with Ali Carter at 5-4 earlier. Si Jiahui 2-1 up against Dwayne Jones. Si's had a century there in the 3rd frame. And Mark Joyce is turning into, in some ways, the story of the tournament, this. He wasn't in the event a week ago. Ronnie O'Sullivan withdrew. Mark Joyce was supposed to play in the Q Tour in Sweden, but gave up his place in that to come here to Wuhan. 3-0 he leads Zhang Anda. With a chance to get to the quarterfinals. Of course, dropped off tour last season, but everyone, I think, is well aware what a tough campaigner he is. And of course, he's not playing this season looking over his shoulder at the rankings and Tour Survival and all that. So it's a bit of a free hit, isn't it? I guess that makes Mark particularly dangerous.
Desperately he could do with this frame, Hawkins, couldn't he? He's been trying to stem the flow. I just mentioned that match yesterday where Kyren Wilson was beaten 5-4 by Xiao Guidong. He actually scored over 250 more points in that match, Kyren Wilson, and lost it. Clearly all the frames he won easily, and the frames that Guidong won in were very narrow on the colours. Not that that matters greatly. You might think that this is going to be his week because he's not someone that appears that often at the latter stages of an event now. But a lot will depend on who wins this frame, I would say. If Hawkins wins it, then he's back in with a shout at the mid-session.
Just on the 3 total clearances from Wakelin, I mentioned Zhang Anda made 4 against Ben Wollaston in Saudi Arabia. They were punctuated by a 50 break in frame 3, but so they weren't in succession. I mean, it's still amazing, but Chris Wakelin 3 on the spin, that is something very special. Well, one thing Hawkins does have, of course, is experience, and he's been in every position in matches. He's renowned as, cool customer, calm, but he's going to have to start playing well. That's the point here. He's not really made much impact on the match so far. His highest break in the first 3 frames, just 21.
He's played that well to hold, but the Reds are just a bit tangled up, all 8 of them in the middle of the table. Quite blocking each other off, it would seem. As he finished on 1, looks tight. Slightly deceptive angle, because I think he can get through. Yes, he could get through to the red, and he can now get through to the black, so he's got a slightly clearer path to the black than it would appear. Yeah, right through there. So he's just inching his way to a frame, albeit he needs a lot more yet. And as I say, at 3-1, it just means he's definitely in there pitching. Well, you could say that about Ding Junhui, that he's in there pitching at 3-1, but it might not feel that way to him, given that he's been on the wrong end of an absolute barrage, which may, of course, continue. So this is a wonderful chance now for Hawkins, who won't ever give up on things, but he's kind of made this break nicely.
So certainly a good chance for Hawkins to win his first frame. And this match will continue on Discovery Plus. But of course on Eurosport we're going to be back in time for the continuation of Chris Wakelin against Ding Junhui. Can Wakelin continue in the same vein? Can Ding get back into it? We'll find out shortly when the players return. Meanwhile, Hawkins getting closer. It's been a typical Hawkins breaking away. It's been sort of unfussy, just nicely controlled, and all you can do is try and get a foothold in the match and try and play your best stuff as it continues after the interval. Hawkins reached the last 16 actually last year. Judd Trump beat him. This season it's been a little bit up and down. He did get to the quarterfinals at the Zhang Grand Prix and indeed the English Open, but he has lost his top 16 place. It's never been so hard to be in the top 16, it seems. Anyway, this is the ball that should make it 3-1.
That rolled off. That hit something. That's amazing. That hit something halfway down, because that was going in and it just seemed to hit something on the table, bizarrely. But I'm not seeing that again.
Well, I guess after yesterday, he's not in the mood to give this up, but there's a lot of work to do yet in this frame.
I think you say that again. Still multiple snookers. As you say, you never know until you try. But it is from 74-0, that'd be a long way back in the frame to steal it. But he may be feeling that anything's possible.
It looks very much like it'll be 3-1 to Zhao Guodong on table 2. Hawkins well in front. Zhao trying to get the snookers. He needs a lot of them, but you can hear the roar on table 1. Ding Junhui and Chris Wakelin return. Ding won the first frame. He made a crisp 69 break, but since then Chris Wakelin has been on the rampage. 3 total clearances in succession, 128, 139, 132. Quite remarkable spell of scoring. The points without reply stands at 399. The record in a ranking event, just to mark your card, is 547. We'll see, but regardless of that, phenomenal stuff. But of course, it will mean less to him if he doesn't win the match. He still needs 2 frames. Let's see if the interval has made any difference.
I suppose Ding can at least say, well, he hasn't done a great deal wrong. I don't think he's missed much, if anything, really. You're not getting any shots and doing much wrong sitting in a chair watching your opponent clear up 3 times. And what can happen is you can be playing well and you can be sitting there almost casting your mind back on what you've done when you stop for your mid-session. Whereas if you're in the moment just playing, you're not really thinking about what's gone before. But we'll see. I mean, he might carry on making all these breaks and beat all the records for continuous points unanswered. But safety battle here, Ding wouldn't mind just to get him started again. If he can get in first, then he can claw his way back into this match.
Yeah, that record, 547 in a ranking event, was actually set in China by Stuart Bingham in 2016. The overall record is 556, Ronnie O'Sullivan at the Masters 2014 against Ricky Walden.
Yes, I remember that match. It was something of a mauling, wasn't it? From, I think Walden, if I'm not mistaken, played a part in the first frame and then was completely, well, taken apart after that in not very long.
I think that was the year there was a power cut as well at the tournament. I think Ricky would have welcomed one at one point in that match. It was just an onslaught. It can happen. It's happening here, but this match not over yet.
The unanswered points might end here if he leaves this red onto middle, although it has gone a little further than makes it an easy red.
Yeah, at one stage Ding held the record. I think it was 495, 494, something like that against Higgins. But anyway, right now he's just looking to pot a ball and get back involved here. Well, a rapturous round of applause for that pot.
That's the red he wanted to get on, the one that's on the black spot to free the black up. I don't know how affected that Ding will be, because, you know, I said earlier on, these two only played in 2017 in the Scottish Open. They've never really played before. It's quite unusual because it's both, you know, very prominent players in the game. How they've not played with all the matches that take place. I'm sure Ding was aware of the kind of player Wakelin is, but if he wasn't, he certainly has been, having seen him before the interval. But if he gets this frame here with this chance, we've got a real game on our hands, I think.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Ding is right up there as one of the great break builders. He's capable of doing similar. So much is about attitude, and as you say, and he didn't do a lot wrong in those 3 frames.
13.
Si Jiahui at the interval against Dwayne Jones. He's made a couple of centuries there himself, in fact, two back-to-back. So some terrific snooker being played in this arena tonight.
Choice of bolt colour is probably the safest option there.
16.
He's kind of just skirting around the issue of getting right in amongst them. Of course, he will at the first opportunity. He knows no differently. He's the sort of player he is. But it just gives a different dimension to a match. A player who was on the up, sitting in his chair now, watching his opponent, and that's what Wakelin is doing.
19.
But he isn't really bang in yet. Pink to middle might be away. Pots the red that he's closest to and just cannons the red below it. It's just one key shot away from making this a wonderful chance. Easy on the pink. It looks as if he is again. It's a quite misleading angle, isn't it, from this camera? Because it looks mighty close, but I think he can get through. Usually all you've got, if you're the opposing player, is body language. It absolutely flies. So there you are. That is deceptive. It looked like he's buried up against that close red.
Well, this is a terrific match, and Ding now making it a match by getting in first in this frame. Just to say, Mark Joyce 3, Zhang Anda 1. That's the last one
26.
to reach the interval. Zhang's won frame 4 there.
$27.
Angle does have on the red, he might be able to get onto the black into the same pocket, but the black, as you can see, not on its spot. Don't want to screw into the black, which is not out of the question here. Beautiful.
33.
That's a nice shot. I think it's better than it first looked, because you have to really judge it perfectly. And he might be able to play on the bottom left-hand red here, which would unlock the other red next to it.
Well, if you keep watching,
40.
Eventually someone might miss a ball, but it's not happening at the moment, is it? We saw Wakelin superb, and now Ding trying to answer back in kind.
41.
You heard that first red he potted, you heard the roar from the crowd. Clearly a lot of people would love to see him get right back into the match for obvious reasons. It's turning into a terrific contest, this. I thought the match this morning, Trump and Higgins, it's quite drawn out, wasn't it? I think there was a lot of respect on either side there between the two of them. So many meetings they've had. But this is a lot more free-flowing.
.48. 49. .56.
Yes, barely a ball has been missed so far. We don't want to put the curse on either player.
57.
Of 3 total clearances. And even that first frame didn't got to the point of snooker's required. Played a double. It went on a while after that. But there's not too many balls missed. But he'll need to put another one here to secure the frame.
62.
Not sure whether the 2 reds are a plant. Oh, they look bang on, don't they? Goodness. That plant is just sitting there waiting for him. He's never going to miss that one. It was bang in line. So, the crowd are... I'm sure they enjoyed the Wakelin breaks because they enjoy good snooker and it was beautiful, but they are probably enjoying Ding winning this frame and putting a halt on that run from this man.
Well, I think we're just all enjoying the match full stop, and Ding Junhui coming to the party here
71
with his trademark class around the table. Just to make a century of his own. It'd be 4 in a row in the match. Could even be a total clearance, but whatever it is, it's won him the frame and he's right back in it at 3-2.
78. 79. .86.
Yes, the pink wasn't quite stopping him
87.
from playing that cannon. But he's in some difficulty now to keep the break alive. Might be playing this to the middle.
Well, 87 will do. He'd love to have made a total clearance of his own, but he needed the frame, and from one chance, he took the frame. So a wonderful match here, and Ding right back in it, trailing by just 1 at 3-2. Yeah, really good effort, bearing in mind the way he was shut out for basically 3 frames.
Potted a good red to the middle to start it, and here it just for a second I thought he'd gone behind the red and he couldn't pot the pink to middle, but he could get through to it, and he had an angle just to knock another red away from the pink spot as well. So he was underway at that point. The plant helped. That was there all along, that plant. And as you see, the brown to middle didn't quite happen. So Wakelin down to just 1 up at 3-2, but at least Ding has stemmed the flow.
Well, what a match this is turned into. Chris Wakelin from 1-0 down had 3 consecutive total clearances. Ding looked like he might make one there, but 87 will win you a frame of snooker. And 3-2 it is to Wakelin. First to 5 will take on Judd Trump in the quarterfinals here in Wuhan tomorrow. Trump, of course, defending champion. So what are we going to get next? Well, there's the order of play. They're the latest scores as frame 6 gets underway.
That little nudge on the green. The green didn't appear to be in the way of the path up the table that he was taking, but he just edged past the red and hit the green. Now, this is not a straightforward ball to middle, but if this goes in, could be away here. Only just, but it's almost a repeat from the previous frame because he started with a red, something like that to right middle as well. And that's what he made a sizable break from. No, he didn't want that. That's a terrible shot by his high standards. He wanted to pass the bunch of reds and be on the red to the left of the black. He'd be absolutely horrified with that positional shot. And you could see that he looked up to the heavens. It's very easy to do that on that shot. Just you played to pass the bunch of reds, but you hit them on the way through for position.
Ding Junhui, 6.
So Chris Wakelin will be quite relieved there because he might have felt that Ding was going to just completely dominate the frame, having got in early, but nothing came of it.
Yes, I mean, there's not been much missed, but breaks can end in other ways. Obviously, losing position has happened there.
Wasn't a huge target there to aim to the reds up by the pink. Touching ball is the call, so there's not really been anything resembling that closer frame. I guess the first frame went down to the colours because Wakelin got the snooker, but the others have all been very one-sided. He's got a clear shot at reds, as you can see, but he's worried about playing off the bunch down the left side with the red on the left cushion. It's so easy to hit that red on the way back up the table. That red far left would be the one that you could collide into. So now he looks like he's playing the two cushion glance. This is always a tough shot. Played it really well, though, hasn't he? Played it ever so well. It's good, really good tussle between these two at the moment.
Yeah, because the standard has been so high, the safety obviously is very important. Cannot afford to offer up chances with the scoring we've seen. Big week, I think, for Ding. This season has been quiet for him. Coming to the tournament, he hadn't earned any ranking points at all season. Previous 3 events he played in, he hadn't won a match. But that seems to be how it is with him. It's sort of feast or famine, in a way. When he comes good, he's really good. That's the thing. We've seen that down the years. The one-year list is significant because of the Players' Series. So it's a 3-event series beginning with the World Grand Prix. We're not entirely sure yet when that is. It's going to be back over the season, but obviously if you can get in that one, you've got every chance of getting in the next 2 as well. And they're ranking events as well. You get points and the big money prize funds.
Yeah, I mean, that's all we can say about the World Grand Prix is it's going to have to be before the Players or the Tour Championship. That much we can confirm.
Foul. Ding Junhui, 4.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a different game at the moment to the one we saw. That an unbelievable run of form for the mid-session interval. It's just been stopped for now, completely halted. It felt like wherever you put anything on the table, he was going to knock it in those 3 frames. Wakelin, he made 3 consecutive total clearances, which is something you wouldn't see very often at all at this game. Now that is quite troublesome, that you see the complete congestion on the left side of the table. Nothing on the right side of the table can he hit to get back down. I mean, if you were somebody with a huge amount of cue power here, I can't think, maybe a Judd Trump, it might try and launch into that red that's just off straight and screw back to the other end. But Ding is not, well, I'm sure he can play it. It's not really something he's known for. So he is definitely in trouble here. All these reds are in each other's way. So if you've got no safety shot, often a pot is at least giving you a chance. But even that would be a very difficult one. It's very unusual to see such congestion on one side of a table and the other one you can't get to. The table. Do you know, I'm not sure what he played there. If he played it, I never saw him come around to look at the angle of the plant, and of course he's on nothing. I mean, he must have played this.
Yellow ball.
Did he? Very strange. Now this may not look great, but he could get Wakelin in a whole world of trouble here. He's nominated yellow. See how this goes.
Foul.
Well, one thing, I'll be amazed if Wakelin has it put back. I'll be amazed, because he could end up in all kinds. He's got an awkward decision here. Now, does he go for this? Does he leave this? If he has it put back, then Ding could unleash hell, basically, by rolling up behind the yellow. So the choices are not as great as they seem.
Well, he's got three choices. None of them are any good, are they, really?
No, because you don't want to be playing it
from here.
From there, yeah. That's probably the best he could do there. You wouldn't want to give him a second try of that out of a snooker, because you might end up in all kinds.
Well, he's put the ball in Ding's court, which, as you say, is probably the best of the three options. Well, a couple of noises off didn't affect him there. Match has sort of changed a little bit in this frame. I mean, you can't expect every frame to be won in one visit. These frames are equally fascinating. There may yet be a big break, but at the moment it's got a little bit tense as the match has got closer. There was a time when, I mean, 3 centuries in a row is a very, very impressive achievement, not least total clearances. But you almost sort of expect these things to happen these days. The first time it happened was 1988, Steve Davis in a final against Jimmy White in Stoke. Doug Mountjoy did it just afterwards in the UK final against Stephen Hendry. And we have had instances of 4 in a row. But the bottom line is he's not won the match yet, despite all that.
No, I thought straight away of the instance of Doug Mountjoy doing it in that final against Stephen Hendry. That's some stage, isn't it, to make 3 centuries in a row against such a player. Up in Preston, Guildhall. Now he's got to be a little careful on the way back down. He doesn't hit the red or the blue. Doesn't want to catch this thin red incorrectly. Well, he's missed it altogether.
And a miss.
So he was aware of that as well.
Chris Wakelin 4.
I'm sure Wakelin will attack now. Ding has been put under pressure. Now this might not be as easy as it would have been before the mid-session interval, this red. Crazy game, isn't it? He would not have missed that earlier on.
There's all sorts of noise again. But just to say, by the way, Barry Hawkins has won the 5th frame, so he was 3-0 down, but it's now 3-2 to Zhao Guodong. Ding just mindful of the yellow here.
It's a big pot, this opening red here, Dave, isn't it? Because there's a lot on if he can only get to pot it and get onto his colour.
Peggy Lee lurking. He's not quite as close, I think, as he thought he was.
No, but I think he kind of almost had to arch his back, didn't he, to avoid being in line with the yellow and brown. It made an unusual shape, I think, that across the table.
Well, it certainly added to the difficulty of the shot, which he didn't get too close to, so it's become rather cagey now, rather tense.
One.
That's a good shot now. Wakeling's got a chance to regroup. No one's saying he's going to make another century here, but he'd settle for about 50 at the moment. That would put him on track.
Eight. Nine. Sixteen. Seventeen.
Looks like he's got a slight angle on the blue. He can certainly head down towards the reds from it. He won't be rushed. He knows how important a visit to the table this is.
Twenty-two. Twenty-three.
Yes, he was right behind that plant, and the reds were not that close together, but it was not a difficult one all the same. Just scratching around a little bit to get back his complete position. You know, he's a long way away from getting the frame one at this visit.
29. 30.
Well, he was really in the zone when he was winning those three on the spin and just looked calm. Obviously, as the match goes on and Ding comes back, it's about staying in that frame of mind. Or trying to.
He had plenty of options there. Reds to right corner, and of course the
36.
one on the left as well if it all went wrong. But both reds go past the black anyway to this pocket.
37.
Yes, and as we've seen, that red he's about to play does pass the black, crucially.
44. Well,
you can easily play the little nudge on the two reds close together here and holding for the other one. Deciding that he just wanted to make sure of the reds. So, the two reds in open play with blacks
53.
Clearly enough.
53. $60. 61.
So there'll be 2 men in it once this is potted. Take a left-hand red to middle and that will win in the frame all right.
68.
Well, it could take him to another century, but this is an important red just to get the frame going his way. Very good.
69.
Well, now, is he going to put another century on the board?
Well, he looks nicely back in the groove. Ding had that tricky red. He was just a bit encumbered the way he was playing it with the yellow.
75. 76. $83. $84.
Oh, that's a bit annoying. He's finished quite straight on this now. Obviously, we're only looking at the chance of making a century, but he's not been helped by finishing there. He's got a very slight angle only. He's got to play it with a little bit of pace.
92.
They're all going in, and the black and yellow's not going to be a problem. So this basically is as good as for the century, with the yellow close to the pocket. What a shame.
Yeah, it comes to something, doesn't it, when you're disappointed with a 92, but that's the level he's been at. As you say, the yellow was waiting, so no fourth century, but it's a winning break after Ding won the first one back after the interval. Chris Wakelin back in the groove and needing one frame to take on Judd Trump in the quarterfinals here in Wuhan tomorrow. I had visions there of him maybe making a century in every frame he won. Ronnie O'Sullivan did that once in Belfast against Ali Carter back in 2007. Anyway, 92 will do. Meantime, the Hawk here, Barry Hawkins, has got his eye in this match. He was 3-0 down and struggling badly. Highest break 21 at that point. But as you can see, it's 3-2. He's in front in frame 6 late on with a chance to level up. So Hawkins, as I said earlier, he's got this great calm about him and a lot of experience, and he's just found a way back into the match.
Well, yeah, because it looked for all the world like he was going to perhaps lose this frame, and maybe 36 points down. Would have been a bit early to say that, but he was in Zhao Guodong. And it's still got to be won, though, isn't it? It's a tight frame from here where the balls are. It's not guaranteed he'll clear, but from 3-0 to 3-0 would be a big turnaround there.
Zhang Anders won the 5th frame, so he's 3-2 down to Mark Joyce. Si Jiahui 3-2 over Dwayne Jones. Well, this feels like the key shot now, this last red for Hawkins. Very accomplished player with the rest. So here on the main table, Chris Wakelin. OK, it wasn't a 4th century, but 92, a frame-winning break. He leads Ding Junhui 4-2 and needs one more to reach the quarterfinals of the Wuhan Open. Peggy Lee, the referee, just waiting for everyone to settle down. It's been thoroughly entertaining, a lot of high scoring, but Ding now really can't afford any mistakes. He's getting good support.
Frame 7, Ding Junhui to break.
Chris Wakelin has not won yet. If he does, he's not the sort of character who will get carried away too much. He'd be happy, obviously, but he will focus then on the match with Trump, which will be interesting because in 13 meetings he's never beaten him. But first of all, he's got to get to 5 before he can think about any of that.
Sure, the red looks like it will go past the black, yeah, comfortably. A great shot from Wakelin because he kind of almost played a containing shot, but he didn't really leave the balls in a particularly safe place. Now, obviously, Ding, he's faced with the difficult black now. He does take the black. But it has opened the door to him a little bit if it goes in.
Well,
there you are. It was a big shot, but he might be fearing the worst on the basis of what he's seen this afternoon. He may not be coming back to the table, but he's not even potted a ball yet. But it's been that kind of a day for Wakelin. He scored heavily. Whether he can continue to do so, it's another matter, but he wouldn't necessarily want to be in Ding Junhui's position. Maybe winning the deciding frame or the concluding frame is a little bit different to all the others. He doesn't look like missing many, quite honestly.
8.
Yeah, you have to have a toe on the floor at all times. That toe has got to be on the carpet.
I was only saying a couple of days ago that I've never seen anyone actually foul before in those circumstances. So I doubt he'll... Obviously Peggy is looking very suspiciously at him as if he's about to.
Nine.
Never a real problem, I think, in the end. He's just got to do what he's been doing all afternoon, and as I say, it might be a little more difficult to do in this frame to get him over the line, but he's at the table and he's looking good.
Yeah, the rules of snooker are interesting, I think. They weren't all set at the same time. They evolved over several years, but I guess at some
16.
point with that rule, someone must have climbed on the table and they thought, well, we can't have this. So that was written in.
Seventeen. Twenty-two. Twenty-three.
Well, this is his first chance to win the match. From what we've seen, you'd fancy him to do it, but it's easy to say that. I've just been very impressed with his general calm today. As I was saying when we started, you know, he's in a good place in general, off the table as well. I think it makes a big difference, particularly when you're travelling, that you want to be here, and his form has been good this season. He's had some good results. Is it all coming together here in Wuhan?
29. $30.
Now, what does he do here? Because he's got the angle to screw into the cluster of reds in the middle of the table. Other than that, there's not really an easy red to play on, so he's going to have to almost roll the dice a little and nudge into the reds, or else this break might not take him all the way. That'll do.
$37. $38.
Got the feeling that the right hand red might go to the left corner He's now looking to see if that is the case, which means you wouldn't have to play Cannon at this stage. Much happier playing him behind the ball. Yeah, he's not on it perfectly. It could be missed. Because it releases a couple of other reds as well if it does go in. As you can see, it passes the bunch.
$44.
Well, it's up to Chris to rate the performance overall, but this must be right up there. It's not just how well he's played, it's the context of coming here onto the main table, playing Ding in front of a big crowd at the night session. He's been brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, the context is everything, isn't it? The other thing I will say is you do occasionally see a screenshot of someone knocking in a barrage of huge breaks, but it's not very often on the show table. You know, it'll be in the main arena somewhere, but on the outside table. Huge breaks all the way through. This is really in the spotlight he's doing it.
53 in front, 75 on.
54.
Looking for a couple more reds here to get the job done. Middle 55. Of the pocket, isn't it? That's the thing. They're not just going in, they're going in cleanly.
He looks a world beater today, doesn't he? As I think we all know that we have seen it before with him, where he can just get into a zone where he looks fantastic. He's got a lot of positional skills. You know, he's not someone you'd say, what a wonderful long potter. He is somebody that can get right in amongst them. And his concentration has been very good, so he's got to keep it going for a little longer. Goodness me, what a thing to miss. And the reason he missed that is because he just was trying to put it in the bottom side of the pocket to get in position. He was a bit straighter on the black than he wanted to be. How about that for a miss?
Well, you heard the response of the crowd. It was excitement that Ding's got a chance, which didn't look like it was going to come.
One.
Well, it's not significant right now, but if Ding could win this frame, it might be hugely significant. But he hasn't played a great shot there. He's not very nicely on this pink at all, quite honestly. Over the top of a ball, hitting the red, finish cut. Nothing nice about this. Well, the frame is still alive because there's not an easy red on. And Wakelin will be relieved to be back at the table so quickly. Nearly fell in.
Yeah, I mean, the middle pockets are not generous. You know, I think the corners maybe are, but those middles, you've got to be exact. So there you see it, 53 the lead, 59 on, a sudden injection of drama, just as it looked like he was coasting towards the winning line.
I think what he can do here, the red to the right, he could play that into a fairly acute middle pocket. But if it goes in, it's match over, isn't it? Because it'll be snookers and the pinks on. He doesn't really want to disturb the slightly safer reds out down the left channel either. Not very close to getting that, but it was a shot to nothing. Be a good frame to win this, I can tell you, and we could turn everything around. You wouldn't see Ding take all this time on a shot very often, but clearly it's a crucial shot, and B, I mean, it's hard to know where you can gain any real advantage here. Awkward Red's away from a cushion, but I'm not sure he can. That's probably all he could do. Just keep Wakelin quiet for a shot, because he can't afford any more mistakes now, Ding Junhui.
Well, we watch this dramatic moment of play. It is 4-2 to Si Jiahui against Dwayne Jones, and 3-2 Mark Joyce, possibly going 4-2 against Zhang Anda. Still 4-2 Zhao Guodong over Barry Hawkins. Mark Joyce, in fact, has had a century, so definitely 4-2 up on Zhang Anda.
He didn't really want to leave access to the red he's closest to Ding here, because I think he can pot this into the right corner. I just wonder if Ding could somehow pull this frame out of the fire. If he would go on and win the match, it wouldn't surprise me, but he's not close to winning the frame yet. Good shot. So it's the first step of a long journey back into the match, I think. Played the red confidently.
On Mark Joyce, he made a 139, so he's now equalled the high break. So we've had 4 now, so, you know, many more, and it's kind of almost not worth making them with the £5,000 high break prize. Yeah, my mistake, so it's 5, not 4. Well, at the moment it's 1,000 each, which is fine, obviously, but not quite the riches you would expect for a high break.
This is very difficult. This is really difficult with the rest. I don't have him down as one of the better rest players in the world. I mean, he's not the worst by any means, but he's not a Kyron Wilson or a Sean Murphy. Oh, doesn't want this in. Doesn't want that in. Well, now, that makes a big difference. There's 52 in it now, with 51 on. Well, that'll be a huge relief, because it's safe to say that as brilliantly as Chris Wakelin has played, that the black he missed was as easy as anything he's had to play in those big breaks. So originally, Peggy Lee said 4, and if it was, Ding could still win, but it's one snooker anyway. So he'd be very relieved that that dropped in, that pink ball. changed things considerably, obviously.
Yeah, so Ding needing a snooker. Otherwise, it's going to be Wakelin taking on Judd Trump tomorrow.
One.
I mean, we know that one snooker isn't game over, and especially if he could pot red and the black here, Ding Junhui would feel that there's still a squeak.
8. Nine.
So is he going to be able to lay a snooker that is going to really test Chris Wakelin?
16.
He probably wouldn't get many better opportunities than this, although he was a bit far up the table to put distance between the two balls very easily. He needs a bit of cover here.
Ding Junhui,
There's
16.
a big gap. And he's got a chance to knock this red in. And that will be end of a terrific match.
Well, as you can see, can see the red. But of course, it's Ding who's looking for the snooker.
Yes, it was never going to trouble him, that snooker. But you feel there is a good snooker to be laid here. All the colours on their spots suggests that there is a hiding place for Ding Junhui behind one of the colours, if you can just get the shot right. Again, you think of someone like Mark Selby or John Higgins, you half fancy them to lay a difficult snooker at some point. Well, I mean, it would have been not too bad behind the black. I still think it would have been likely escaped on the left side, but ultimately he's not snookered at all. Doesn't have to leave the red on the table, of course. He could pop red high-value colour and try and get it on the colours. If that position came up, he might take it up. The opportunity to do so. This looks good. Little swerve off the cushion. You'd like to think pretty simple snooker to hit. Around probably 2 cushions.
Sort of nonchalantly walking away there. It was very close to going in.
Well, he got a double kiss there. I'm certain he got a double kiss. Tell you what, that's not easy to hit. I'm sure that double kissed. I don't think that was just played up and down, in which case Ding was lucky. Big puff of the cheeks from Wakelin. He doesn't fancy this very much. And with the red close to the cushion, it's not a huge target. I don't know if he can play a big swerve. That might be the way, right-hand side, in between the pink and black, and then bring it back from left to right as we look. But it's not a nice shot to be left with. That's what he's playing. Might be the only way he can hit this. Oh, goodness me. Oh, goodness me, what a thing. Because he's got right-hand side on that. Wow. What a game this snooker is at times. That is unbelievable.
Well, his problems, of course, started when he missed that black off the spot on 55. He was just sort of a few balls away from winning it. Now, what a thing.
Yeah, Ding just checking to see which colour he can take. Well, he can go blue, pink or black. He doesn't want to take the brown here, because you can only tie then, so up for the blue it'll be.
One. Six.
Well, it's slightly different, but it is slight flashbacks to yesterday. Wilson and Zhao Guodong.
8.
Well, it really is. I mean, how on earth? I mean, if he did lose his frame, and it looks like he might, how on earth has he lost it? But we'll have to just watch the next few balls go in. Although he might not want to see them from his chair, Wakelin.
11.
Yeah, I mean, when he was on the break that he was on in this frame, we were talking about it being one of his best ever performances, best ever wins. He hasn't won yet, and it can be a big sort of mental challenge if it is to be going into another frame here to get over this.
15.
Just the way it happened.
Yes, he couldn't get really close to the pink there. So all in all, he's controlled it nicely to end up quite straight, which is what you want on that shot.
Well, 26. Just wait for the noise when he pops this black. The match looked over, but China's Ding Junhui can hear the murmuring already. Needs this. We're going into another frame. Incredible. And Chris Wakelin now faces a bit of a test here as his lead is cut to 4-3. Well, we're here again, aren't we? Another dramatic twist in a match. Just when you think you know what's going to happen, snooker has other ideas. Now, we're going to go to table 2. Barry Hawkins, Zhao Guodong, with Zhao looking good to get it won. Here we are. He's 4-2 up, 14 in front, so needs green and brown. And he will put himself through to play Shaun Murphy in the quarterfinals tomorrow.
He's having a really good week, isn't he? You know, Zhao Guodong. I mean, he's one of these players that you see on the tour and he's in the top 32, but you just might not be the first name you think of in an event, but he's having a good week. He won an extraordinary match yesterday. He was outscored by over 250 points against Kyren Wilson, beat him 5-4. And now this, you know, the next day is a difficult follow-up match, isn't it, after a good win like that? So for Zhao Guodong, he'll be absolutely delighted. Absolutely delighted.
Yeah, it's turning into quite the week for him. Looks certain to be 3-0 down and probably out the match against Wilson, but here we are. He's into the quarters. And every reason to believe he can go further. Shaun Murphy next. Because Barry Hawkins' Wuhan Open adventure comes to an end. Well, it's been a high-quality match, but also a match full of drama. We saw that in that last frame, the in-off from Wakelin set up the chance for the clearance from Ding. It must be said, though, the missed black on 55 before that was a key moment also. Wakelin was coasting towards the winning line, didn't cross it, and now has to do it all again here in frame 8. 4-3 it is to him. Just in terms of other matches, we've had a couple of finishes. Zhao Guodong has beaten Barry Hawkins 5-2, and Si Jiahui has beaten Dwayne Jones 5-2, and Si Jiahui in that match had 3 centuries himself, so he's played some terrific stuff. He's going to play the Mark Joyce or Zhang Anda next. That's just about to go 4-3 to Joyce, it would seem. It's 4-2, Zhang's on a break of 71. Meanwhile, Chris Wakelin will take anything right now, and it's not only that he's behind the yellow, it's reds have opened up, so just got to be careful here. He doesn't skim off these reds and leave one of them on. Just coming round to see if he has left this red to left corner. Wakelin's having a good look as well. It must be tight. Well, there you are. It's exactly what he didn't want to happen. He's trying to get the side of the pack. Well, this is clearly very tight. I mean, he's having a good look now from the pocket.
Well, he put a lot into the pot there and couldn't really think too much about getting the positional side of it. Of course, the news was it went, and I suppose once it goes, and you can think about something else. But he was unsure all the way through that process.
What a roller coaster of emotions this sport is. Chris Wakelin experiencing that right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's just going to be a whole different ball game, isn't it? We were talking about unanswered points and making a century every frame earlier. Now, just getting the win is going to be a scramble, I think. And I think he is one of those players, Wakelin. He's been absolutely sensational today, but I've seen the wheel fall off, you know, with him. And I mean, with most players it can, but you know, that match against Trump at the Crucible, it completely fell off. It's a few years ago now, but it happened.
Zhang Anda has answered Mark Joyce's 139 with a 137, so it's 4-3 to Joyce there. Some terrific stuff being played here. Well, in frame one, you might remember Wakelin went for a very tough brown. Didn't get it. Ding made a 69, effectively a winning break. In this one, he's taken the yellow on with the rest, hasn't got it, and Ding's in.
Yeah, he's on that
8.
Red to the left of the black, so I think he knuckled down at the end of that last frame to win it. I still believe that he was a bit fortunate to get that snooker on that last frame. I'm sure he got a double kiss and the in off, all of these things. But now he's just got to go back to his thing that he does best. He's in with a chance to score, and it would be, for a neutral, a terrific end to this match if it went all the way to a decider. It's been a bit like yesterday's match, really, with Gudong and Karen Wilson. It's been a match with all sorts happening. Some break building and a couple of moments here. Goodness me.
Yeah, I mean, I said it was a roller coaster for Wakelin, but what about Ding in that last frame? He's inadvertently knocked the pink in to leave himself leading the snooker. You think then it's probably gone, but then the in off from Wakelin, suddenly the clearance presented itself, which he took out very coolly.
17.
Not sure whether anything is a plant to the left corner. The red's kind of shaping up across that side. I saw Ding looking into them. I don't think anything is a plant. The middle 3 reds, perhaps. The fact that he's gone into them says no. It's okay. That is okay. Albeit with awkward queuing, he's got a red to middle.
24.
Yeah, he was trying to push it through to get on the blue, and I guess it made the putt more difficult. He'd be annoyed because that was a wonderful chance, and he's handed the initiative straight back to Wakelin.
So he has to do it all again, but let's see how he's feeling. One thing I can tell you is in terms of the matches tomorrow, Shaun Murphy against Zhao Guodong and Jack Lisowski against Long Zhihang will be in the first session, so European time breakfast, 7 o'clock UK time, and then the other 2 matches, including Trump, of course, against the winner of this, will be 12:30 UK time.
Nine.
So how far can he take this break? We know he's playing well. He knows how well he's been scoring. But
40.
Just got to shrug aside what happened in the previous frame. But whether it will just come back again, if there's another moment to be had in this frame, get a little bit jittery out there. But he has got a great chance here. Great opportunity. There's a red right in the middle of that bunch which goes. It's got to play a little nudge off of one of the bottom reds onto the black. Very nicely negotiated.
21. Twenty-nine.
A little bit of a stretch, this next shot. You wonder if he'll just
34.
Smoothly cross the winning line without a scare, or there'll be more twists. It wouldn't surprise me if it was the latter. Yes, he's a little awkward. He's right across the table, the extension on the cue. Dead straight, this.
35.
Problem solved.
Well, you do wonder if our old friends, the snooker gods, had their say in the last frame after he missed that routine black. They said, right, things are going to mess with you a little bit. He's hoping that's in the past now, though, because this is looking like a really good chance once again to put himself into the quarterfinals.
Yeah, I mean, the yellow being fairly safe does help him because he's not going to be needing it. But, of course, should he break down any time in the next few shots, then Ding clearly will need the yellow in attempting to clear. So that kind of works in Wakelin's favour, the fact that it's just where it is.
Forty-two.
Quite interesting when the two reds are placed below the pink and directly above the black. They're not that easy to get on. They're not
48.
Completely safe either, and he's now seeing whether the left one would pot to the left middle or the right one to the right middle, which, because after this red is taken, might well be the case. I think they'll both pot. But you'd have to get on them perfectly.
49.
The lead is growing, though. Already 26 points. That'd be 32. We'll need two more reds. It's just a question what he does about getting on the 2 reds. From his next colour, he needs to get low on the 2 reds.
$56.
There you are, playing on the reds in the middle after this. So this is the moment, it seems. We thought we'd already had the moment, but in the previous frame. Here it is now.
62.
Well, they'll be so relieved if this goes in. And there it is. And regardless of the little slip-up in the last frame, he has played brilliantly today. He made 3 successive total clearances to win frames 2 to 4.
He really has played well, yeah. And Ding hasn't played poorly himself. He didn't quite seize the moment in this frame when he had the one chance. Seeing that red to middle, queuing awkwardly, but the scoring power of Wakelin, it cannot be denied in this match.
Well, the irony, of course, now, Neil, he could actually make a century here to finish, having not made one in that last frame. Doesn't care right now. He's just happy that he's over the line. It's been a brilliant display overall from Chris Wakelin. You can see a little puff of the cheeks after the trauma of the last frame.
78.
Doesn't get any easier. Judd Trump next. He's never beaten him in 13 meetings.
Chris Wakelin, 78.
So 78 to finish. It's been a very entertaining match, a high-quality one, a terrific display from Chris Wakelin.